The last show of the season was a very emotional one for me because I pretty much knew at that time that I would not be coming back in the fall. And Howard Cosell was the host. Now, Howard and I have been friends for a long time, and I actually made my television debut on his variety show back in 1975, which was called Saturday Night Live with Howard Cosell. And throughout the years, we have maintained a friendship, and he was the host for the last show. There was a scene which we wrote, which was the young Howard's bar mitzvah. So Howard Cosell played his own father, and I played the young Howard's mother. So we're doing the scene, and I'm all dressed up, and I have this remarkable cleavage, and like, it was really funny. And we have this argument, and the scene in dress rehearsal didn't end the way I really wanted it to end. So now we're on live doing the show, and we're coming up to the scene, and in my mind I'm thinking, while we're on the air, there's got to be a better button for this scene. I got to do something that could be exciting. So now we come to the air show, and I still don't think that the piece has what we call a blow-off for the end of the scene. So I'm sitting at the table with Howard, and he's making up to me. Mr. and Mrs. Cosell have had an argument, and he starts kissing my shoulder. Well, the audience gets real crazy. It's starting to get funny. And I looked over, and I don't know why I did it. I'm not proud of this. I kissed Howard Cosell on the lips. Place went nuts. Howard's eyes went like a cartoon. Boing! And then I said, dance with me, right there. And we danced. And it was a remarkable experience to kiss Howard Cosell. I wasn't excited, but I was nauseous for about a half hour. I mean, we're still friends and stuff, but the cigar had been in there all day. And when a cigar's in there all day and you kiss somebody, you get a schmutz here. And I then had it. It was amazing. But Howard, I know you're out there. Was it as good for you as it was for me? Here is the beautiful Sade, even though she spells it S-A-D-E. She's marvelous. The sweetest taboo. The third show of the season, Jesse Jackson was the host of Saturday Night Live. Unprecedented in television to have an appearance by Jesse Jackson in a comedy variety show. And everyone was apprehensive. What are we going to do with him? What are we going to do with him? So I wrote the cold opening of the show, which was Jesse talking to the Godfather. What do I do? I've done everything there is to do. I've run for president. I've faced angry protesters, vicious dogs in my march in Selma. But this show scares me to death. And the person he was talking to was Sammy. So I got to, again, play Sammy, getting Jesse Jackson loose and ready for the show. And it was great fun because I got him to sing his favorite song, which was Red Rubber Ball by The Circle, which Sammy described as a 60s thing, man, but it's exciting. It was great fun. Friday Night Videos is going to be back, babe, with peace and love, and I mean that. The first time I did Sammy was on the show that I hosted on St. Patrick's Day in 1984. And I had worked with Sammy Davis just prior to that, and I loved working with him. If you have a chance to work with him, because he's amazing. Because I'm fascinated by old show business and the stories, and he just would tell me endless stories. So I got to do a scene with Joe Piscopo, who played President Reagan, and I played Sammy. So I was so in love with doing Sammy that on my phone machine at home, I had the message was, my voice, "Hi, babe, Sammy here, but I'm not here. I'm doing a video because I love show business, which is indeed the business of doing a show. So leave your name and number. I'll get back with peace and love, and I mean that." Well, the real Sammy Davis calls me, but the phone machine is on. So Sammy called, Sammy answered, and it must have flipped him out because on the tape, all I heard was, "This is too wacky for me. This is nuts, man." And he hung up. It's one of those weird moments in show business where you call and you answer. I mean, how nuts is that? I love this video. His starship, Sarah. When Fernando took off, when the character, like, exploded and everybody in the world was saying, "You look marvelous to me," it was like, it was overwhelming. I mean, here it is months later, and I'm not on the show anymore, and people are still saying it. And it gets a little strange because you get people come up to you and they go like this. Hey, how do I look? Come on, tell me. How do I look? Every day you got, Hi, you look marvelous. Wow, you look marvelous. Look how you look marvelous. Hey, honey. Hey, you look really marvelous. You get all day. So one day, it gets a little wearing. I took out a little clicker, one of those numbered things, and I was walking through New York City, and everyone would say, hey, look, Mama, 172 times. It was a great feeling. You never know how these things are going to happen, but I'm really happy. I mean, it was, for people to say you look marvelous was better than what they used to say to me when I was doing soap, which was, hey, Fairy! So I think I'd rather have this. Darlings, you know who you are. Don't touch that dial. The most unique thing about doing Saturday Night Live is doing it, is getting a show done. You have 5 days to get this show on the air, and you start from scratch each week with a host who's different, who you have to write for, who you have to make sure that the host is featured well, then you have to make sure that you're featured well on the show, and it is amazing, and you've heard this for many years, how this show gets on. Well, until you actually do the show, you have no idea. You're writing, you're directing films for the show, you're editing them, you're scoring them, and then suddenly it's Saturday, and ba-doom, you're on, showtime. And when you actually do the air show, this is now at 7:30 that night, you do a dress rehearsal, which is a longer version of the show, for a live audience with all the makeup and everything you have to do. Then in between, like 10 and 11:30, the show is cut and re-edited and put together, which becomes the air show. Well, you're tired at that point, and the hard thing is to maintain the fact in your head that I'm going on the air at 11:30. Don't blow it in the dress rehearsal, right? So then you get on the air, and it's the most exciting thing. When you hear Live from New York at Saturday night and the band kicks in, it's a tremendous up. So even if you're tired, suddenly you're awake. And the other unique thing about the show is changing clothes and characters in the middle of the audience. You have no choice but to get from set to set to set. And one time I was playing Hervé Villechaize. I was playing Hervé Villechaize in a show called Bad Career Moves. And Hervé had left Fantasy Island because he wanted $75,000 an episode, which the host, Jim Belushi, said, that's $25,000 a foot. So we had to then change from Hervé run to become Sammy Davis in about 6 minutes. While everyone's ripping these things, clothes off and stuff, and boom, they put this on. Peter put a nose and an upper lip piece, eyebrows, the glasses, the rings. The rings took like 40 minutes. Pushing those things on, and all the time, Joe Dixon, the stage manager, is going, I got 1:15, I got to move them. And then you're getting the stuff. And you don't even know what you look like. And then suddenly they go 30 seconds, and I had never seen myself at this point as Sammy. Now the wig is being glued on, and they've darkened me up, and I suddenly looked in the mirror, 15 seconds, and now suddenly I was Sammy Davis, and I had just been Hervé 6 minutes before. That's what's unique about doing that show. His Dream Academy, life in a northern town. I'll tell you that right. Don't get me started on this whole New England bit. This chick, you know, Stevie Nicks, I love her, you know. She's always in the videos, if you've seen them, she's always moving around, you know, like the teacup thing at Disneyland. She's always lit from the back, so the form of her, which is eloquent, man, and I mean that, is like you can see a shadow, there's a leg, there's a thigh. Stevie, babe, you got it all cooking, man. And here's her new video, and it's called Talk to Me, Babe. I'm involved in a project now that is very exciting to me. It's not often that you can do something to help people. And when you get the chance, it really is very exciting. I'm involved in a program that will air on HBO on March 29th. It's a 3-hour live broadcast. It's called Comic Relief. And the host will be Whoopi Goldberg, Robin Williams, and myself.
I have respected.
Alam mong mapitipeng heming.
And learn from. Also to make...
That's enough.
No, it's not.
And it's the first time that the funny people have gotten together for a cause, and the cause will be to raise money for the homeless in America. And we're hoping to raise between $12 and $15 million, if all goes well, to provide medical aid in centers all across the country. And I'm very excited about it. And it's like our Live Aid. And to be able to help our own people right here in the country is is something that I'm really looking forward to. And not only will be contemporary comics like Whoopi and, I'll get that, like Whoopi and Robin, but also great stars from the past, and everybody in the world of comedy. That we'll get everybody together and do the best show that we possibly can do so people can enjoy it, but also, ultimately, to help our people here. You always get asked advice from new comedians, and there's so many of them, which is great. I mean, every town now has an improvisation club or a comedy club or Lotso Laughs. You know, some of the names are strange. And they ask advice, and the only thing I can say is I've been working since I'm 5 years old, when my relatives would come over and leave their coats in my room, and I would put on their coats and go out and imitate them. I'd put on my Uncle Mac's coat and hat and go, "Mac, how are you? What's going on, pal?" And that's why I started when I was 5 years old. And all I can say is talk about what you know about, and just be yourself. And Bill Cosby, when I first started, was a big influence on me, not only in listening to him, because he spoke to you like a person. He had a brother, I had a brother. There was things to talk about. He would come down and see me in the Bitter End in New York. This is Bill Cosby. And he would say, talk about what you know. And I think that's an important thing, is that and Jack Rollins, one of my managers, who was Woody Allen's manager and has been one of the sages of comedy for 35 years, said to me, don't be afraid to bomb. Take risks. Don't be afraid to bomb. Stretch yourself. And I think that's the best advice I've ever gotten. Well, that's our show for tonight. I had a great time here, and it was good to see all of you again. It's been a long time. Don't be a stranger, huh? And I'm also glad that Ricky didn't get in here because I owe him some money. So watch this show next week, okay? We'll see you soon. Bye.
So I had pizza, I had caramels, I had all kinds of stuff. I like New England. I once saw the Queen of New England, you know, Elizabeth. You know, she's pretty. She's really pretty. I didn't do nothing, I swear. This is just like a reflex. You know, but like, you know, there's different cops here, you know, there's like Mayberry. Brooklyn, you got guys who, if you smile at them, they like, you know, they bust you up. But they got to, because Brooklyn is like, you know, it's heavy sometimes. But sometimes it's not so heavy, which makes it lighter. But I seen Queen Elizabeth, and she's the Queen of New England, which is amazing, because I don't understand. If you're in New England, you could have a queen, and then you have a nice coat. I'm gonna steal this coat. I'll be back.
Hi, I'm Ron Reagan. Join me and my musical guests, the Nelsons, and Penn and Teller, when I host Saturday Night Live. How did I do?
Good.